The Tragedy of Cinema podcast is intended as a family-friendly program that by extension strives to be inclusive to all people regardless of their ethnicity, gender, creed, or any other identifying factors in this incredibly diverse world of ours. With that said, some of the films we discuss may contain serious subject matters or have content considered morally objectionable by today's standards. We do not intend to condone or dismiss these aspects of these films, but our primary focus will be on what we believe the film succeeds at, some fun facts, and our personal enjoyment factors of each film. With that said, we hope you enjoy the show.
Jimbo and Bond take flight. 80s dreams on its delight. In the realm of black and white. Movies and TV flow through the stories we all know. Silver screen tales unfold in the magic they bestow. The tragedy of cinema, when the memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most.
People, you're going to be remembered the rest of your lives for the day you got held up and kidnapped.
At approximately 3 p.m. on August 22nd, 1972, Sonny Wojtowicz and Sal Naturale entered the First Brooklyn Savings Bank and attempted a robbery.
Nobody move! Get over there!
The attempt failed.
There's no money here.
They picked it up this afternoon. It's only 1100.
This is too much. It's for you. What?
The police arrived.
This is Detective Sergeant Eugene Moretti. What are you doing in there?
For the people of the neighborhood, it was a sideshow.
Sonny! Sonny!
But for Sonny and Sal, the hostages, and the cops, it was a dog day afternoon.
It's all a whim. Rob a bank,
I had
right?
a plan. I had it planned. WNEW plays all the hits. Well, you keep away from this bank or we're going to start throwing bodies out the front door one at a time. I'm a Catholic and I don't want to hurt anybody, you understand?
How about letting the people out of the bank?
They're keeping me alive. I'm going to let him out.
Sir, can you tell me what the situation is?
All right, who has to go to the bathroom?
Sonny, come on out!
It's just a freak show to them anyway.
The most you're gonna get is 5 years. You get out in 1 year, huh?
Kiss me. I mean, I don't know about that guy out there.
Hello, Sonny. You're on the air.
Sonny, Jesus, I was watching it on TV.
Go back there, man!
Why didn't he tell me he needed money?
He wants to kill me so bad he can taste it.
Why rob a bank when
you got a sucker for a mother?
You're starting to get on my nerves.
See that? Put it in your holster!
We're entertainment, right? What do you got for us?
I ain't going back to that prison, Sonny.
They're coming in the back!
I'm here with my partner and 9 other people. See, we're dying.
Don't!
You're gonna see our brains on the sidewalk. They're gonna spill our guts out. Shouldn't let something like that spoil your fun.
Hurry! Don't fire! Don't fire!
I can't stand you being a bank robber, Sonny.
We're not talking! I'm trying to talk to you!
Mom, what are you doing down here?
Run.
Where am I gonna run?
Algeria?
Yeah, they got a Howard Johnson's there, so I'm going. 1, we get a helicopter here. 2, takes us to a jet. 3, I'm flying to the tropics. We did it.
Al Pacino. Dog Day Afternoon. A true story.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo, and I'm joined by my special co-host once again.
Hey, this is Bond in Texas.
But Bond, we're not just joined by you tonight. We are joined by another special guest. We have from the Dark Discoveries podcast. We have Dustin. I don't know what he just said. He's rattling off something. So
I said, you may love me. You may hate me, but they can't get enough of me. Do you know why?
Oh, here he goes.
Because my episodes are your top performers.
That's just because you go download them on 62 different podcast apps and have your daughter and wife do the same, right?
I do not, actually. I don't even listen to them. I don't like to hear myself talk. But just remember that, like, I'm I'm the cream that brings this whole dish together from time to time.
Yeah, sometimes you're the cream that happens in your pants after a bad meal too. So
the cream rises to the.
But tonight on The Tragedy of Cinema, we're going to be covering a movie called Dog Day Afternoon, which, if you don't know the story about this, head on over to the Dark Discoveries podcast, where Dustin Bond was a special guest and I covered the true story behind this movie. Very entertaining, very, I don't know, what would you say, weird, kind of weird true story?
It was very strange.
It's odd.
Yeah.
But here's what I love is the fact that if you listen to that and then you listen to this episode, you get so much more out of the story of Dog Day Afternoon.
Yes.
You don't have to listen to both, but because they both can live on their own. But if you listen to both, you're gonna really enjoy both.
But you might also be able to distinguish fact from fiction too.
Yeah, there's some differences, and we kind of hit on some of those. So,
all right, Bond, take it away.
All right, man. We are going to be covering Dog Day Afternoon. It's a 1975 American biographical crime drama. This thing's directed by Sidney Lumet. Screenplay by Frank Pearson. It's based on a true story, but really it's based on a 1972 Life magazine article called The Boys in the Bank. Because what happened was, it was a bank robbery in New York, Brooklyn. Life magazine picked it up and wrote the story because it was a unique story. And then once that happened, everybody jumped on the screenplay and it became a movie very fast. I think the bank robbery was in 72 and this movie came out in 75. So it came out right away. This movie has a running time of 125 minutes, so just over 2 hours. It came out on September 20th, 1975 in like one area, and then September 21st, the next day, throughout all of the United States. This movie was a big hit, guys. It was made for about $3.5 million in 1975. That translates to about $21 million today. It made about $56 million at the box office. Translation, $338 million today. So made for 3, made 56.
Not bad. It almost tripled the budget.
Yeah, I think it was a big thing. And I think it was because wasn't Al Pacino just coming off of like the Godfather type movies?
Yes, like the role of anybody would die for that role, and here he comes off right in that ginormous wave. And
yeah, so it's like Al Pacino's got a new movie out. Everybody's going to go rush to see it.
And I think he's really coming into his own in this. That's what I really liked is you still kind of have that raw Al Pacino character, but he's really starting to, I think, get to that point where he's just about to be white hot.
Because, well, you think of Al Pacino, you think of like that New York, you know what I'm saying? And his is 100% Al Pacino in New York.
Right, but we almost didn't have Al Pacino in this movie because he was just coming off The Godfather Part 2. I mean, literally just coming off of it, and it was physically and mentally he was depressed and exhausted after the shoot. So he didn't think he could come up to, after hearing about the story, he didn't think he'd come up to that hysteria that he needed to live up to every day on the set for this. So he said, well, I guess the director said, well, I guess if he's not going to play it, I'm going to give the script to Dustin Hoffman. And well, once Pacino,
and Dustin Hoffman would have won an Academy Award also.
But once Pacino realized his rival Dustin Hoffman was going to get the part, guess what? He changed his mind about I'll do it.
No matter how exhausted he was.
Right.
I think you can kind of pick up on his exhaustion a little bit.
Well, he did some stuff for that though. I'll go to it in the notes.
I think though, if he was mentally drained, you didn't see it like as he's out of it, but I think he was able to harness that and add a little bit different dynamic to the character. So
that little bit of exhaustion in his voice, in his actions.
Because it's only, a 14-hour standoff, but at that point you're going to be mentally exhausted, and I don't think he had to act. You go through the the motions of acting, and you're just going to portray it that much better.
Yeah, so check this out, guys. Here's some of the cast. It's got a rather large cast in it, so I'll go over some of the main characters and some people you might recognize. Of course, guys, we're talking about Al Pacino right off the bat. He plays Sonny Vortic, which is based on John Wojtowicz. John Wojtowicz is the real name. They changed it to Sonny. Right? Of course, Al Pacino, known for The Godfather, where he wins an Academy Award. He was also in Serpico, later Scent of a Woman, and Scarface. Right? So, I mean, everybody, legendary Hall of Fame actor, Al Pacino. His partner in crime was John Cazale as Sal Naturale, right? Or Salvador. He was also in The Godfather. So I guess you got to look for him in the background, but he's also in The Godfather. He was also in another famous movie called Deer Hunter. And unfortunately, he passed away really young, guys. He was 42. He died of lung cancer. So he passed away pretty young.
That Deer Hunter is one amazing movie, too, if you've never seen it.
So he could have been right up there with Al Pacino when it comes to legendary actors. If he was in Godfather and Deer Hunter, and if he was able to live and continue to make movies and stay healthy and didn't get cancer and pass away so young, we might be talking about him as a legendary actor, too. I mean, think about that. This movie's got Charles Durning as Sergeant Eugene Moretti. He was in the movie The Sting, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Jimbo's favorite movie, The Muppet Movie.
Love it.
Two great movies right there.
Yeah, and he was also in Tootsie. So there you go, man. He's a great actor. Chris Sarandon plays Leon. Now, they changed the name again because Leon in real life was Elizabeth Eden. That was, as we find out, Al Pacino's wife in this movie. He was in the movie Fright Night. He's in the movie Princess Bride, Child's Play, and he's also the voice of Jack Skellington in Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yep. And I met him at the con about 2 years ago. Nice guy.
Oh, yeah? Did you get a Fright Night picture? That's what I would have done.
I did.
As many times as my wife's made me watch that movie, I'm surprised I never picked up on the voice.
Now that's all you'll be able to hear next time you hear him now. You'll be all, wait, that's not Leon. That's Jack.
What's this?
Now there was one loud. There was one loud. She was like the head bank teller, the lead bank teller. That was Penelope Allen. She played the role of Sylvia the Mouth Ball, right? Shirley Ball. She was in a movie called Scarecrow with Al Pacino. Sully Boyer was Mulvaney, right? He was the bank manager. He was in the movie Car Wash and the movie Prizzi's Honor. Who doesn't love the movie Car Wash?
At the car wash.
There you go. Working at the car wash. Susan Pettitz played Angie. She was also a bank teller. And she was in a Twilight Zone episode called... Oh, no, she wasn't. It was James Broderick, who played the FBI Special Agent Sheldon, who was in a Twilight Zone episode, Season 4, Episode 16. Thursday, we leave for home.
Well, pay attention to that. That should be coming up sometime this year when ADZ joins us for the Season 4 Twilight Zones.
So he'll come back around in about a month or two. Now, at the very end of this movie, guys, I know you recognized Lance Hendrickson. He was the FBI
Dustin
special agent.
Didn't. I know he didn't.
What?
Dustin don't know who that is.
Lance Hendrickson, he was the driver, the FBI driver at the very end that gives them a ride to the airport. He is Bishop from the Alien movie, from all the Alien movies. He was also on a TV show called Millennium. He was on X-Files. He was in the movie Terminator. I really recognize him as Bishop from the Alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And I've not seen any of that.
There was one other bank teller that stuck out to me. This was Carol Kane as Jenny, and they call her Jenny the Squirrel. She had real frizzy hair. She had big bug eyes. She's in the movie The Princess Bride. She's in the movie Annie Hall. She's one of the ghosts in the movie Scrooged. With Bill Murray. Remember Scrooge? There was like that one ghost of, I don't know which Christmas, whatever, but she was the one, she had like blonde hair and she had big eyes.
Yeah.
Was she the one that her husband called and she was on the phone the whole time, or is that somebody else?
I think that was one of the other ones.
Okay.
That's like the main cast, guys. That's like your nuts and bolts of this one, productions and all those kind of things. There's some other bank tellers and cops and things like that, but those are like the main characters, I think.
All right, Dustin. So what I want you to do, you know how I love putting you on the spot. Give us, if you had to entice somebody to watch this movie, what is going to be your sizzle reel to tell them what this movie is about?
All right, man. You've got an action movie, but think about The Breakfast Club. Think about Reservoir Dogs, where the bulk of your production is in one location. Think Al Pacino on that upward trajectory that he is on. And honestly, I think he made the movie. So you've got this, you've got a robbery that absolutely from the beginning is a colossal failure. You want to sit there and watch to see what happens. You know instantly there's no way these guys are going to get out of here, and probably not alive. Like if they get out, they're going in cuffs. And you know, it's a really good movie. I thought the soundtrack was, you know, we'll get in later. I think the soundtrack fit the movie. When you watch it and it shows all the neighborhoods of, I think the different boroughs or different parts of Brooklyn that it's showing you, I think it did a very good job catching the dynamic of the city, the different people, everybody come from different walks of life. And it just hit, I think, 70s New York on the head. So when you watch it, I think the cinematography really is superb in this movie. Like I really, it drew me in right off the bat. So if you're going to watch, you know, stick through it. It doesn't take long for it to draw you in.
I was going to say, if Dustin is actually saying to watch a movie because his attention span is not very long, then it's probably a good safe bet. I like a
good crime movie. I do like a good crime movie.
Did it make you want to live in 1970s New York City?
Oh man, I just wish it was a little bit more mob, you know, centered, because the mob is running wild in the 70s in New York City, and just the shenanigans they're going to get into and all the stuff. And
it made me want to live in that gritty 1970s New York City, man.
The cars were horrible. Like,
no way. All the cars were huge boats.
Yeah, I'm like, the cars are horrible. I could not imagine driving in New York City in a car that big. But it's just, it makes you want to go experience like really what it was, because it had its nice spots, it had its gritty spots, but it was just.
I don't think New York City's ever been able to shake that stereotype that the 70s movies put into that New York City idea, because movies were based in New York before the 70s. But when you think of movies, when you think of New York City, you think of that 1970s type New York, you know, the gritty, dirty streets, and the rude people, and, you know,
well, you got the shop owners, you know, watering, they kind of, you know, refer to like watering the sidewalk. And they did that. They took pride. You know, they would, you know, scrape the gum up. It may not be the best area. You may have some wheat, you know, something here or there, but they're going to take pride in what they do. And it may not always be the cleanest city, but there's just so much pride and so much stuff going on. And
you have the loud noises of the city, the horns honking everywhere, bustle, people yelling. The excitement of the hustle bustle.
So just a side note, Jimbo may get into it, but I'm going to take his thunder if he does, because that's what I do. So this movie, they used the exterior shots, was all in Brooklyn. They filmed, I don't know if it was exactly on location of where it happened. And then they built the whole set of the bank inside of a parking garage in Brooklyn. So you're actually there. You're not trying to go somewhere else and pretend it's New York City. you're getting the shots from New York. And I'm sure that happened way more back then than today, because you can put up a green screen, you build a fake set that you just use over and over and over. But this is, I mean, it had an authentic feel. Like
nowadays, everything's filmed in Georgia.
70s. Yeah. Yep. That Georgia is the new Hollywood.
Well, they said that
my friends will tell you that Georgia is full. Stop moving there.
They said that the set was so good that people actually walked into that bank trying to open accounts.
That's awesome.
Ain't that crazy? All right. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this trivia. If you want, the thing with this movie is it's based on a true story. Like I said, if you want the true, accurate account of this movie, go listen to the Dark Discoveries episode. So we're going to start talking about some of the trivia for this movie, which will probably be a little bit shorter episode, I would say, since we covered so much of the synopsis and details of the real story in the Dark Discoveries episode. I think it went almost an hour and a half. So here we go. So actually, I know it's Dustin's favorite part where Sal asks Sonny, he says, or Sonny asks Sal, what part of the country, what country would you like to fly to? And what does he say, Dustin?
Wyoming.
Wyoming. That is actually an improvisation on John Cazale's part. And Pacino's surprise reaction, he didn't know what was going to come out, so he didn't know what he was going to say. So this movie, the director's not a big fan of improvisation, but he said it worked for this movie because of the stress and everything they were under. So he let some of that stuff slip through the cracks. So,
but sometimes it makes it more, you can connect a little bit more. It's like, okay, I mean, it helped, I think, further the story, in my opinion. It was something minute, but it really makes you wonder how well it was planned out. Was it really a well thought out plan, or did they kind of go in on the seat of their pants and just crashed and burned right off the bat?
Well, so during production, Al Pacino reportedly only slept a couple hours of a night, ate sparingly, and would sometimes take cold showers in order to emphasize Sonny's disheveled, exhausted, and yet wired appearance. And you can really see that come across the screen. Sonny's cry of Attica, Attica, disrupt the crowd was also improvised. Charles Durning's confused reaction was completely natural, as he wasn't sure what his character was supposed to do next. So,
and that's why Al Pacino's great. You know what I mean? He just, you sense what it needs and you just do it.
Here's something that Bond missed in his cast. Penelope Allen, who plays the blonde chief bank teller, she was actually a surrogate mother to Al Pacino. When he first left home in his teens to pursue acting, he lived with Allen and her husband for several years. So nice. I thought that was really cool. The outdoor sequences were actually filmed in cold weather so that their breath would not be visible. The actors placed ice in their mouth before each take, which I didn't see. Oh my
goodness.
Can you imagine?
Well, it's supposed to be the hottest day of the year. And so.
Yeah, I mean, it was really crazy. But the real life incident this film is based on is used in police training for dealing with hostage situations and out of control crowds. So I don't know if I'd use that. I mean, some of the tactics that the negotiator, if you will, tried to use, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. Hey, you want a pizza? Give us a hostage. If you want to talk to your wife, give us a hostage.
Yeah, it'll cost you 2 hostages.
So now, when you bring up the hostage part, do you think that he just thought it was going to be a run of the mill robbery, and they just wanted money, and he could be just basic with him to get him to come out? He didn't know the full detail of why he was doing it. Like, they kind of made a suicide pact, I think, kind of the way they allude to in the movie. And I don't know if that was in real life as well, but it was like, let's just paint by numbers.
Well, the whole crime was only supposed to take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And so once the police show, the problem is they didn't have any backup plans. No. So it's like, what do we do if the police show up? What do we do if someone gets hurt? What do we do? So they had no what if figured out. They thought they were just going to go in there, rob the place, and leave.
Yeah, there's no what if the third man leaves. What are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to plan for that one, but you got to plan for what do we do if the cops show up? What do we do if somebody panics? What do we do if somebody gets shot? Those are things that could happen in a bank robbery. You think you'd plan for those type of things.
Yeah.
So I love that first 20 minutes of the movie is my favorite by far, where they actually rob the bank. They come in one at a time. They're all nervous. Al Pacino's got this huge flower box and he can't open it to get his gun out.
That's
he's fumbling around.
It's not suspicious to bring a long box in to a bank, but then to have the most fumbled removal of the gun from the box that I've ever seen. Like,
yeah, they're like fumbling around with like those little pins on a chain and they're all filling out deposit slips. It's just so mumbled. It didn't go very smoothly. I mean, think about it. He burns like the ledger and he catches the ledger on fire and puts it in the trash can. Next thing you know, the bank's filling up with smoke and people outside across the street are seeing the smoke escape from the bank. And they're like, that's suspicious, you know? It was just one bumbled thing after another. That's my favorite part of the movie by far.
And then the movie takes place at closing time. So what got me was how many people before like they secured the phone line, how many people called the bank before they knew there was, kind of robbery going on. It was public. There was like 5 or 6 phone calls. It seemed like every time you turn around, the phone's ringing. It's like,
the phone rings off the wall with that last 30 minutes before they close.
Yeah. And it's like the lady's talking to her husband once, they're hostage. It's like, well, what are we going to have for supper or whatever he alludes to. And it's just these random calls. It's like, who calls a bank that much?
So the real bank robber, John Wojtowicz, he actually watched The Godfather from 1972 to get the ideas the day he robbed the Chase Manhattan Bank. So, guess he didn't watch it close enough, right? Sal berates one of the bank tellers for smoking, saying he doesn't smoke because I don't want to get the cancer. Unfortunately, John Cazell, who was a heavy smoker, died from lung cancer just 3 years later. So, halfway through the production, Al Pacino collapsed from exhaustion and had to be hospitalized for a short time. After production was completed, he decided to stop doing films for a while and return to actual stage work. So, that takes a toll on the body, I think.
I would think stage work would be more rigorous.
Right. We'll have to ask Jackie on Dark Discoveries if stage work.
It's like the daily grind is more difficult.
Yeah, but there's probably no retakes. You're on you perform, you're done. Probably exactly. Retake after retake, hour and hour and hour. It's probably a longer time frame.
It's much longer days. Yeah.
So right after Sonny fires his gun because they think the cops are sneaking in through the back of the bank, Sonny comes outside and gets yelled at by Sergeant Moretti. For this scene, Sidney Lumet told Charles Durning to improvise and to immediately get Sonny on the defensive. He had 3 cameras rolling to capture whatever happened. Watching the scene, you can feel the spontaneous energy and confusion from both actors. It was an effective use of improvisation, but Lumet said he never would try it again. According to Frank Pearson, Sidney Lumet didn't want him to remove the scene where Sonny dictates his will. That scene was the main reason why Lumet wanted to direct the movie. Also, Lumet didn't even watch any of the real footage of the actual John Wojtowicz because he didn't want to be persuaded one way or the other, and he didn't want to use any of the footage from John and Leon's wedding because he thought it would alienate some of the viewers too. So he had a specific thing he wanted to cover, and that's what he went with.
He didn't go for an agenda. It was part of the story, but it wasn't hammered down your throat. The story was developed completely up until that point, and then you learn more about it. And it was done, I think, very well on that.
Did this movie have, I think, other than one flashback with his wife, did this movie have flashbacks to show you like how they got to this point?
I don't think so.
You would think this movie would be like set up to have all these flashbacks. How did he meet everybody? How did they get together? How did they plan this thing? None of that was shown. I think there was one flashback when he's talking to his wife.
Yeah, there's nothing to really set the stage. It's just, we're watching a movie about a heist. We're going to see some planning. It's going to probably take a little bit of time. 30, 40 minutes into the movie, then it's going to happen and it's going to really pick up. But it started within seconds of starting. It's already in action.
Yeah. So the director hired a team of about 300 extras to play the crowd that gathers outside the bank during the standoff. According to Lumet, the crowd would swell every day they filmed, especially in the late afternoons, and that the professional extras did a great job of getting the civilians to act appropriately for the scene. It was like a big improv exercise. People who lived on the block were offered hotel rooms if they wanted to get away from the commotion, but most of them chose to stay. They were invited to look out their windows and gawk just like real neighbors do.
That's awesome. It's like, hey, the more nosy you are, the more authentic it looks.
In the 1972 Life magazine article that inspired this film, P.F. Klug and Thomas More described Robert John Wojtowicz as, quote, a dark, thin fellow with the broken face and good looks of Al Pacino or a Dustin Hoffman. Is that not crazy?
Oh, no.
You want to know a fun fact? I'm going to give you a behind the scenes fact. So I was supposed to be named after a race car driver with a pretty obscure name. Mom said, no, you're not being named after Lake Speed. I will not have it. So somehow Dad came up with Dustin from Dustin Hoffman. So
whoa.
That's where my name came from.
That is my brother's. That's my brother's name.
Maybe. Yeah.
My brother's name is Dustin, and he's named after the actor Dustin.
We're in some sort of Twilight Zone, aren't we?
I'm not kidding. My brother's name is Dustin, and he's named after Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah, it's just, I'm like, I don't know what you came or what made it in the 80s to make that what you wanted to go with, but that's how I ended up where I was at. And I'm like,
well, I always tease my brother and say he was named after the Tootsie Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
As long as it ain't right, long as you didn't name me after Rain Man, I'll be all right. Nothing's wrong with Rain Man, but
well, you play the part so well.
Dustin Hoffman. What was the big Dustin Hoffman movie in 1985, 86?
Well, Hook was in there, but that was in the 90s, though, I think, where he played Captain Hook. He did several of them. What is
Midnight Cowboy, Kramer versus Kramer.
Yeah.
I'm looking through his
so, well, you keep looking. But the production shoot lasted 7 weeks with crews and cast working day and night. Due to the speedy style of the directors working, the film was completed 3 weeks ahead of schedule. So, I mean, this guy didn't waste no time, man. You got to remember, this was only 2.5, 3 years after the real event that happened. They also said Al Pacino and Chris Sarandon's phone call was also improvised, which is pretty good. I don't think Bond went over the awards for this movie.
No, I did not.
So
Would you
Bond,
like to hear some awards?
Did it win any awards?
I don't even host this show, and I have a layout for my script on how to put these episodes together.
No way, man! You got to ad-lib this sucker. You kidding me?
No, you go buy a script.
This film was nominated for 7 Golden Globe Awards, 6 BAFTA Awards. It won Best Actor for Pacino, and it also won Best Editing. It was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, but unfortunately, the only one it won was Best Original Screenplay. So Al Pacino did not win an Academy Award for this one. He had to wait for Scent of a Woman to win his award. But yeah, so it was nominated for a bunch of awards. I couldn't agree more. I think this movie deserved to be nominated, especially for some of the screenplay, for some of the way it was filmed. I thought it was great, man.
And ranked 94% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty impressive, man.
And 90% on their popcorn meter, whatever that means. I did want to get a bag of popcorn. I was just too lazy to up and go get it.
They did.
It was nominated for 7 Golden Globes, but it didn't win any. That's kind of weird. It did get 6 British Film Awards nominations. Pacino was nominated for Best Actor in a Leading Role. Alan won for Best Editing. I mean, the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Drama. There's a lot of little awards, man.
But it did win the Best Original Screenplay, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So I guess it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's an Academy Award, dude.
You take what you get. I'll take Best Soundtrack. I'll take anything.
It is considered number 70, that's 70, on the 100 Years, 100 Movies list.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And number 86 on Movie Quotes, when he says, Attica, Attica. That's number 86 on Movie Quotes.
It's also, he's ranked number 4, Al Pacino is, for his performance as Sonny Wojtowicz, on Premiere Magazine's 100 Greatest Performances of All Time. That was as of 2006. The only lighting source used for this film was lights that were readily available in reality. So they only used fluorescent tubes, emergency lights, street lamps, and automobile headlights. And I think you can really tell it doesn't have that stage present, where you can tell the lights are on there. And I think that's what makes this movie stand out is it looks real. Like
it looks real.
Yeah. And that's, like I said, I for the time it was done just flawlessly. Like it's got to look, it looked like you were in a legitimate bank. Like it didn't.
But that must have saved a lot of money when it comes to, making this movie, producing this movie, putting it all together. You don't have to have all those lighting and all that stuff. You just, hey, let's turn it on. Let's go.
You don't have to pay union light people to set up and take down and to be there, running the lights.
Yep. And they were only allowed one night to film their scenes at the JFK airport. So all that happened in one night. Also, Al Pacino wore no makeup at all during filming. He achieved his gaunt and burned out look by sleeping as little as possible and eating sporadically. So no makeup there either. And that's probably why this performance sticks out in my mind too. The phone scene was filmed for a full day without air conditioning to better capture Sony's fatigue. I mean, it seems like they put these guys through the ringer for this movie.
Oh yeah.
I just can't get over them putting ice in their mouth and then spitting it out and doing their lines. It's cold, crazy. Just torturing yourself.
And what about that bank teller that has goes to diabetic shock and he's all sweaty and
the bank man and if they're filming this in a parking garage in the wintertime, it's going to be cold. Like even if you have heaters, it's going to be cold.
Yeah, New York City, come on.
But I will say something. I think the film shows you kind of root for Sonny in this film because he actually cares about the people. He doesn't want to hurt any of those people. Like he cares about the guy's diabetes. He's worried about the security guard. He's worried about the lieutenant. He's worried about, all the ladies that have to go to the bathroom. He's worried about the people. Are you hungry? Hey, who's this? Do you have any kids? You see all these questions that he wants to make them feel like they're not in any danger. But when he goes outside, he has to play this hard role. And he's selling his partner up the river every time he goes out there. He's like, hey, I got a crazy Vietnam veteran here. He will kill anybody if anybody comes close or anything happens to me. Yeah. So I was like, man, so you're seeing you're seeing him two different sides of him, and that's how they say he was. So
I love it when they're going to lock him all in the vault. And she's like, you can't close the door. We'll suffocate in here.
Yeah.
And this is they try to lock him in. It's like, I have to go to the bathroom. Right? He goes, oh, who else has to go to the bathroom? Like everybody raises their hand. Everybody has to go to the bathroom. He goes, yeah, see, one person has to go. Now everybody has to go. It was just one thing after another for that dude.
Yep. Elizabeth Eden, Leon here in this movie, did get the transition surgery paid for by Wojtowicz from the $7,500 plus 1% of the net profit she got for the film rights to her story. She died of complications from AIDS in 1987 at the age of 41. Sidney Lumet didn't want to interrupt the lengthy phone conversation between Sony and Leon, largely improvised by Pacino and Sarandon, despite the fact that the cameras had only held 10 minutes worth of film. He solved that problem by starting up a second camera just as the first one was due to finish. So they must have been really knocking it out of the park.
That's genius. That was really good stuff.
I think they said that it happened on the first take too, and he made them do it a second time because he wanted Sony to look more exhausted. But he said the first take was perfect. Sidney Lumet deliberately forbid the art director, cinematographer, and costume designer from talking together and establishing a visual scheme for the movie to encourage a live and natural feel. Another brilliant thing that he did. James Broderick took his 12-year-old son, Matthew Broderick, to the set to meet Al Pacino and director Sidney Lumet. 14 years later, Matthew worked with Lumet on Family Business in 1989.
That is cool.
Yep. Maria's 15-minute break ends at around the 15-minute mark of the film. This is actually Chris Sarandon's first film. It's his film debut.
Wow.
Yeah, I did not know that either. Frank Pearson wrote his Oscar-winning script around only 12 sequences, which we talked about. Most of it set in the bank. Dominic Chianese, who plays Sony's father, is only 9 years older than Al Pacino. This was selected for preservation in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress in 2009. So I like it when movies get protected like that. I think that's great. The bank where the actual robbery took place was a branch of the Chase Manhattan Bank at 450 Avenue P on the corner of East 3rd Street in Gravesend, Brooklyn. It is today the home of the Brooklyn Medical Imaging Center. So if you're in New York and you want to go where the robbery was, set up an MRI or something, go get you image X-ray or something, right?
I would stand outside that building and just yell Attica.
Exactly.
X-Rayica, X-Rayica.
They're all, sir, you're going to have to move along.
Cops, we need the cops. Not again. After the initial title sequence, the soundtrack has no background or incidental music. The Looney Tunes opening music is audible after the TV phone interview, but it's cut off after a few seconds. Uriah Heep's Easy Living is briefly audible through a handheld radio also. The only Best Picture Oscar nominee of the year to also be nominated for original screenplay. And Frank Pearson wrote the screenplay, and at one point Al Pacino's character said to one of the bank tellers, "Get your mind right." The same line was constantly used throughout Cool Hand Luke in 1967, a movie also written by Pearson. According to Al Pacino's autobiography, in the script, Sonny's transsexual lover would come to the bank dressed as Marilyn Monroe, and they would kiss in front of the crowd as the crowd gathered around. Pacino found the scene to be completely unrealistic and convinced Sidney Lumet to replace it with the phone call scene, which was not scripted, instead entirely improvised. Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about that if that was in the movie. I think what they did was fine.
Yeah, I think it would have.
It might have taken away from the movie.
Away on some, yeah.
James Broderick's final theatrical film appearance. This is the fourth of 5 classic films featuring John Cazale, who died before he could make a movie less than perfect. All his features were Oscar nominated and are now legendary. Here they are. And tell me if you've seen these. The Godfather.
Yes.
Bond, you seen
Yes.
Godfather 2.
Yes.
Mostly.
The Conversation.
No, I don't think so.
Dog Day Afternoon.
Yes.
Yes.
And while he was dying, I remember covering this, I believe it was with Kyle, The Deer Hunter.
Nice.
Have you seen The Deer Hunter, Bond?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Outstanding movie, man. Outstanding.
Yeah,
he was also a very versatile actor. He played passive in The Godfather, gossipy in The Conversation, and quietly dangerous here, and a confident womanizer in The Deer Hunter. This is Chris Sarandon's only Oscar-nominated performance.
I don't know. He was pretty good in Fright Night. So.
That's surprising, too. There was a 3-week rehearsal before the filming actually began, too. This film, and I can't believe it, is actually included on Roger Ebert's greatest movies list. I can't believe it.
So get this, man. You ready for this one?
Yep.
So it was nominated for Best Picture in 1976, right?
Right.
But it didn't win. Another movie nominated that didn't win? Jaws.
But I know what did win.
What did win?
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
Yes, sir.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which is important because it's the second film in Oscar history to sweep the top 5 categories. The first one, It Happened One Night. 1935.
Wow, that's the last episode we released, I do believe, or one of the last.
Exactly. So it all fits together, but it lost to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's why this one and Al Pacino did not win, because he couldn't beat out Jack Nicholson.
So get this, Judith Malina, who plays Sonny's mother in this, right? She portrayed Grandma in The Addams Family in 1991.
I love that scene, man. She's got that one scene where she just comes out to embarrass her son.
Yep. And Carol Kane, who plays Jenny, replaced Melina for the sequel, Adam Family Values. So I thought that was really cool too, that they were both, one of the few films where the FBI are shown as being more logical and professional than the blue collar cops. Usually in movies or TV shows of this era, it's the other way around, and the FBI agents are stiff suit types compared to the more relatable cops.
What I liked was, we can't bring a helicopter in here, but yet they had a TV helicopter and, like a police helicopter fly over, like in between the buildings.
Well, they say they could.
Low to the ground.
Said they
couldn't land it on the roof because it would collapse the roof's what they were saying.
But it's like you could go in and like hover it, like you could get in there. Like it's just.
Do you think that was true, or do you think they just said that so they couldn't?
They just said that, they did.
AC units get heavy, so I'm pretty sure a light helicopter you can hover over and not touch them.
Well, my thing is, how many people were they planning on fitting in this helicopter? because there was like 8 to 10 people in this bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Sal's machine gun is a Smith & Wesson M76 with a shortened barrel and the stock removed. And here's something I thought. The bomb that is formed between the hostages and the people that are taking the hostages, they actually become sympathetic with the hostages or their captors in this, right? They're like, the one girl's like, come on, lady, you can come out here. She's like, those are my girls. I'm going back in. Right?
I'm not going to leave them behind.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
And the funny thing is I'm sure that happened in real life because I know other different true crime things that I've looked into, like skyjacking certain stewardesses, or like, I'll take this versus that for my people. There was a pride in taking care of your employees and your coworkers that I think gets lost today, because she was like, I don't care. I'm going to make sure they're taking, like, if I'm here, nothing bad's going to happen. And
kind of a going down with the ship type idea.
Yeah,
they had that, what is it called? Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Where it's like, just give them what they want.
Yeah.
This, Bond, you're on a mission now, because we need you to find this issue. It was parodied in Mad Magazine number 183 from June 1976 as Dum Dum Afternoon. Al Pacino, John Cazale, and Charles During also appeared in the TV series NYPD from 1967. There's more here we could talk about all night, but we'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. So we'll give one more here. The news anchor in the movie says the wedding dress for the wedding party cost $700 in 1972. Adjusted for inflation, that's $5,400. So we'll start with Bond, and then we'll kick it over to Dustin, and then I'll finish up. Bond, what is your thoughts, feelings, ratings, and your prop piece for this movie? Dustin, on a scale of 1 to 10. All right.
Man, this thing, it lives up to the hype. There's a couple sticky parts. There's a couple scenes where I'm like, I don't know. But this movie is 50 years old, and I loved it. It was tense. It was funny at times. Like I said, it captures the gritty 1970s stereotypical New York City with the noise and the horns and the police and the, hey, I'm walking here kind of ideologies. I think Al Pacino did a great job. The fact that he wore no makeup, the fact that there's no artificial lighting in this thing other than just the fluorescent lights of the bank and all those kind of things, that just adds to how good this movie is. The fact that his whole speech in that Attica outside of the bank is ad-libbed, wow, that's amazing. I think this movie's great. I'm going to give this movie a 9 out of 10. It's not a perfect movie, but it's really good. My prop piece, I will take the burnt ledger. When he has the bank book and he goes to try to burn this thing, and he can't catch it on fire. He finally catches on fire. He throws it into a trash can. The thing starts smoking like crazy. He's about to catch the bank on fire. I want that burnt ledger as my prop piece that I'm going to display in my movie Hall of Fame.
All right, Dustin.
So I'm going to add one thing super quick. So I was watching this, and it's New York City, and in the time where it's the mob's running wild. And I'm like, so if I was the mafia right now and there's a standoff going on, I would try to pull off some type of a heist, because you have a lot of police and all this stuff already at a location with all the attention. I did see some of the stuff reading it that he did have some mob ties, and part of the robbery was to pay back some of those debts that he had. The Gambino family was involved in supplying the guns, I guess, in this robbery, but they did not attempt to do anything else during the time, which I just find that a huge missed opportunity for the mafia. But to the movie, Bond, I think, hit everything on the head. And it's so weird for me to agree with you guys on a movie.
Yes.
I think filming as much as you can on location on the exterior scenes reproducing a fantastic bank in a parking garage. Like you said, the lighting, no makeup, it really made it feel authentic, like almost like you were there, like you're one of the people inside the building. And then when you go outside, it's like you're somebody behind the barrier, or you're the guy holding the camera, because here it is. And phenomenal scenes when they just go outside. Like that's some of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion, when he goes out and he's going for all these demands. I hate it because I have a bunch of notes here that we're not going to really get into, but filmed really, really well. The whole movie was just done very well. I'm happy I watched it. I may watch it again to see if I can pick up on different things. Like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I've watched it 3 or 4 times. I get something out of it different. I think this movie, when you watch it, you'll get something out of it each time until you see it a few times. You'll pick up on different details. But what I really liked was they didn't push any, they did the movie. Nothing took away from what was going on. Al Pacino, man, I don't think he could have done better. You couldn't cast it like this is Jimbo. You didn't ask this question. Who would you have picked to play him? I don't think you could pick anybody better. I think he really hit his stride in this movie. It's not one of my top 10 personal favorite true crime or crime type movies. That's my forte. That's what I really like. I would put other movies ahead of it. It's definitely at the end of the top 10. And the more I've digested it overnight, the more I like it. If you'd asked me last night when we watched it, my reaction could be a little bit different because I've processed and I've had time to think about it. And I don't know if I would go to a 9. 9's like a perfect, you're never going to be a 10 movie. It's like figure skating. You're never going to get a 10 out of 10. I think it's like an 8.8, 8.9. It's just on the brink of being a 9. But that may be a movie that you watch again, and that could go up. It could go up to a 9.5 or something when you watch it and really take it all in. And I want to find the DVD and see if there's bonus features. I want to see it's probably a little early for the 70s to have a bunch of extras, but I want to see the uncut version or something that gives me more that didn't make the final cut.
So Dustin, what's your prop piece you're going to take?
The Ledger, that's a really good thing to take, but I don't know how I could have an Al Pacino movie and not want to take his shirt or something. Take his outfit, put it on the wall. I mean, does it get any better? It's kind of, those big collar shirts in the
you went with those big old 1970s.
I'm surprised you didn't say the pizza box.
No, like a tab can would be kind of fun because it's, kind of retro on that. But like I said, I want to say a gun or something cool, but I think like the shirt on, frame that up really nice, mat it, throw it on the wall.
Yeah, I'd say that's the shirt that Al Pacino wore in Dog Day Afternoon.
I don't care what movie it is. Like I've seen some stuff with The Office of all things where you could buy suits that Steve Carell wore, but it's one of those, it doesn't get any bigger than Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Like he's still
maybe Robert De Niro. Those guys are kind of in the same,
those pit
I think.
Stains?
That's where he's wet, or maybe it was water or something. Who knows? But
right.
Yeah. Even now he still makes really good movies.
Yep.
And he's up there in age, and it's just, such I think I'm more of an Al Pacino fan now. I think movies like Scarface were good, but I think his acting was better in a movie like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think this just hit a different note on the realism that just resonates.
Right. So for me, we're up to me. I can't say much more than what you two have already said. I think just the way they shot this film was amazing. Cinematography was superb. When Bond suggested, I had never even really heard of it. I didn't know anything about the real story, the true story. I know Dustin didn't either. And, you sit here and you watch this movie, and I'm thinking to Bond, I was like, man, what, really? Do we have to do this movie?
I'm a sucker for like based on true event movies.
So that's
that's my thing.
And I didn't even know it was based on true events when I was watching it. That's the thing. So once I sit down and I started watching a movie, it drew me in. Like, well, usually I'd break up something Bond picks in like 2 or 3 sittings because I can't handle them, right? But this one, I didn't even want to get up to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't even want to refill my popcorn. I couldn't, I didn't want to pause it because I was enjoying it so much.
That's the good thing about Tubi. You get those 5 commercials. You can go to the bathroom real quick. And you don't
I have 3 commercial breaks. Go.
Yeah, but I mean, just the act, not just Pacino's acting, but everybody's acting. The hostages, the bank manager, I thought did a really good job. The police chief, sergeant, whatever, great. And then when the FBI came in, I thought he did a really good job. He's like, "Hey, I just want to talk to you," and they were pulling some shenanigans too. Cause you remember when they brought the limousine up or whatever, and they had the African-American gentleman, he's like, Hey, I'm not part of this. And he's like, "Hey, I want this guy to drive us to the airport." And he's like, No, man, I can't do that. Then he figured it out. Like, that guy's FBI. I don't want this guy driving me. So I thought that was one of my favorite parts when he started figuring stuff out, and just to see just to see how he cared about the hostages, because he really didn't want to get anybody hurt. I thought that was great. And then my other favorite part is when they're driving him to the airport. Right, Lance Henriksen's driving to the airport. He keeps looking in the rearview mirror at Sal. Right, he's like, "Sal, keep that gun pointed up." He's like, "You're going to hit a bump and it's going to go off. These roads are bumpy." He told him like 2 or 3 times, right? Even when they got to the airport, it's like, "Sal, you need to keep that gun up." And for anybody that's not watched the movie, what happens then, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's pretty, I guess
the movie ends abruptly.
If you were one of those hostages in the car, what happened next?
It hits the climax very fast.
And you're like, can you imagine being one of those hostages in the car when that went down? You'd be traumatized for life.
And like I said, they trusted him, and it was a genuine trust.
Mm-hmm.
But like you're talking about the police chief, the guy that's trying to defuse the situation, he really flipped it for the viewer that you were on his side and you were like not a fan of the police. You're like, I'm bought in on the bad guy, and the good guy, it's like, yeah, don't mess around. Just give them what they want. Like, let's be real.
But we all knew he wasn't getting out of this situation. We all knew that.
No, there's no way.
You know it, but you're just hoping that whatever they do gives you the payoff that you'll want. And it wasn't the payoff that I would have liked in a movie. It's the payoff that we needed.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, like you said, it was so fast, and
and it ended just like that. Like,
and it's just like, man, and just like that case, the people took the stories away, but the story like ended just as quick as the movie did.
Yeah. So I'd probably right there with Bond. I'm giving it a 9. I said there's not, as like Bond said, there's some little tweaks they could have done to make it a perfect movie. Now I've given out a perfect number for a couple of movies. It's a Mad World is hilarious. If you haven't seen that is a perfect movie. The Poseidon Adventure. If you've never seen the original Poseidon Adventure, I think Bond and both of us gave that a perfect 10, because like this movie, there is no wasted scenes in this movie. There's none. It keeps the story going. Everything you need. It's like a continuation shot of this guy just keeps coming up. The air conditioner goes down. They're coming in the back door. These people got to go to the bathroom. We got to feed them. We got to get out of here. We got to go to Algeria or wherever he says, or Wyoming.
Wyoming.
So, but it's definitely at least a 9. And I probably watch this movie again. I think it was really well done.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it again.
For my prop piece, give me that flower box that Al Pacino walks in at the beginning of the movie, right? That thing was probably 4 foot long with a bow on it, and he tries to get it out, tripping over it and everything. So,
do you get the gun with the box, or is it just
no? I just want the box. I just want the box.
So that's some very long stem roses.
Yeah. Well, Dustin, thanks for coming on. We'll probably have you on again to do another double feature with Dark Discoveries podcast.
It's always a pleasure. I always have a good time. I think that we can definitely do another movie we've been talking about for like a summer double feature.
Whoa, summer double feature.
I've got, I've hinted with the movie The Misfits, Donnie Brasco, another really good based on true events.
JFK.
There's a lot of things that we can tie into both. That makes me excited, because they're some of my favorite movies, and Al Pacino was in Donnie Brasco, and that's one of my favorite movies.
Bond, where can they reach us on the social medias?
Man, if I were you, I would go to Facebook and look for us. I don't know why you're laughing at me.
Because you always mess this up. What's our email address, Bond?
Our email address is thetragedyofcinema@gmail.com.
I can't believe he finally got it right.
Look, it's not written on my hand. It's not written down anywhere.
His promo's not written on his hand, Dustin.
Yes. And so email us. Let us know what you think. Hey, Al, if you're out there listening to this, email us. Let us know what you think, man.
We'd love to have you on either show.
If you would like to come out and give your opinion. If
anybody knows Al Pacino,
yeah,
please introduce
me.
You
know a guy who knows a guy who's Taylor.
You know what?
The dry cleaner.
I take that back.
Anybody that was ever part of this movie, Dog Day Afternoon, email us because I'd love to get some more insider knowledge.
Nope, I take it all back. Dustin Hoffman, if you're out there, please let us know what you thought about Al Pacino's performance on Dog Day Afternoon. And how does it feel to be turned down?
Why couldn't they put Dustin Hoffman as Sal? That would have been really cool.
Oh, that would have been good. It'd been like a Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid situation.
Right. But with that being said, I think this episode's coming to a close, and that's a wrap.
And cut.
Tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. The tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. Those we love the most.
And if you want your own prop from this movie, email tragedyofcinema@gmail.com, and you can get Bond's copy of How to Pronounce
Wojtowicz.
I'll even sign the back of the sticky.
The tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. To the tales we love the most. The tragedy of cinema, where memories shimmer. Join us as we toast to the tales we love the most. To the tales we love the most. To the tales we love the most.
All right, I'm throwing this on Bond. Bond does not know what I'm about to say, but starting next episode, we are bringing back I Heard That in a Movie. Bond will be bringing back the soundtrack information for the movies coming next episode.
All right, I'm excited about it.
All right. Till then, later.